Hello everyone and welcome to the Get to Know Boxing YouTube channel. We are going to be doing another review show today. We're talking about the upcoming mega fight between Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo Alvarez. Or maybe I should really say Canelo Billy Joe, but I'm British, so allow it, yeah. But we're going to talk about this fight and a few issues that have been happening on this fight week. But first, let's just talk about the fight in general and the kind of style matchup and how I think it's going to play out, in my opinion. So Canelo, obviously a formidable force at the moment and almost unbeatable, some people would say. Kind of built up this aura and this star quality. He's got massive attention around him, and under the zone now, and he's also got his own promotional company. He is just a force to be reckoned with. He's kind of becoming the next Mayweather, so to speak. So overall, I would say that Canelo is the definite favorite in this fight. I mean, the bookmakers show that. He has sort of everything in his favor in terms of the promotion, it seems. And his style, he's an aggressive box fighter, I would say. And he comes forward, he does land big shots. I mean, I think he's kind of been made into, or people think that he's a bigger puncher than he actually is. I think he's more of a smart fighter. I think he's over the years since the Mayweather fight, he's got a lot better with his lateral movement, his head movement. He's the movement in his hips, and I think just in general, like his defense as well is just a lot better than it was. I mean, he's always had a decent offense, which he has improved on as well, but it's mainly his defensive skills that have improved massively. We've seen that against fighters as he kind of stepped up the weights. Obviously, the second GGG fight, and also the Danny Jacobs fight, especially, like his defense was just impeccable. So I think he has a good style, very solid style, very rounded, and his commitment is the biggest thing, I think, which kind of adds to his sort of invincibility, man. He's so committed to the sport, and he just seems to be in the gym all the time, and it must be very difficult to have that commitment when you are such a big star. You've got such a big full pocket of money. Do you know what I'm saying? He doesn't need to fight anymore. He doesn't need to fight to live a very good life. So all credit to him and massive respect to him for still having that motivation and still having that drive to get up every morning and go and train. So, but on the other hand, Billy Joe Saunders is probably someone that hasn't been the most disciplined boxer over the years. He's ballooned up in weight, but I feel like he has a lot more natural talent than Canelo. I mean, even though he has done that, he is still undefeated. He's 30-0. He's a two-weight world champion, and he's kind of at times fiddled his way through fights and just found a way to win, which is a massive attribute when you're a world champion. And the majority of world champions, or good world champions at that, will have that sort of ability to get through a fight even when the odds are stacked against them and things aren't going their way. They find a way to win. So Billy Joe Saunders has the southpaw style that many people are talking about. Canelo struggling with these fighters, but that was a long time ago. That I don't think that's going to be something that plays a part now, man. He's got so much more experience. But Billy Joe Saunders has a very in and out style. His movement, his footwork is probably his best attribute, man. He's got decent power. He definitely doesn't hit as hard as Golovkin, that's for sure, but he definitely has sting in his punches and he's very quick. I mean, I think he bashed up Lemieux for them 12 rounds, you know what I mean? He had him hurt. He could have probably got him out of there at some point, but that might be why he's not lost yet. I mean, he has the tendency to, when he has someone hurt, he just plays with them. Doesn't try and knock him out or stick it on him. He just plays with them, man. And he's very good at doing that. So it's going to be a tricky fight for both fighters. Both have the chances to win. Canelo, in my opinion, will probably be about a 70-30 favorite. Yeah, overall a very good style matchup, and I'm hoping that the fight delivers. Been a lot of hype this week, a lot of talking points, which we will get into now. Obviously, the first talking point was the sort of promotional dispute with Eddie Hearn and how Billy Joe Saunders and especially Tom Saunders, his dad, felt that Billy Joe hadn't had fair treatment in terms of the promotion for this fight, in terms of the media work, and just in general being treated fairly for being a world champion himself and undefeated, which I think that was more of a sort of dig at Eddie Hearn. I don't think Tom Saunders has ever really liked Eddie Hearn, or that type of person that Eddie Hearn is. Bound to get more attention, Canelo. I mean, he's a co-promoting the event, for God's sake. He's co-promoting the event. He's the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. So he is going to get more attention. I know that Eddie Hearn responded and said that Billy Joe had turned down some media work. Oh, that's a load of bollocks for me. It doesn't even matter. It's not going to affect how the fight goes on Saturday, that's for sure. What might affect how the fight goes is this talk about the ring. I mean, Billy Joe Saunders wants a 24-foot ring. Canelo wants an 18-foot ring. And obviously we saw that when Billy Joe went into the training part of it, he went into that ring and he said, is this the ring that we're training in for this week? And the guy was like, no, this is the actual ring you're going to be fighting in. Which is it's a bit strange for there to be an 18-foot ring. I mean, I haven't seen that for a very long time. The standard size of a ring is 20 foot. So it makes sense for me, maybe a 22-foot ring or a 20-foot ring, whichever. There's been a lot of talk back and forth about them walking off and not fighting, which is it's just they are going to fight. Let me just tell everyone now, the fight will happen. There's way too much money involved. And even if Billy Joe Saunders was to not fight, he would lose money. You know what I'm saying? He would actually have to pay out a certain amount in legal fees to cover the expenses and the actual loss in revenue that they'll make on this if he doesn't fight. And if Canelo has to fight John Ryder or Carlos Gongora, who have been talked about. So yeah, the thing that concerns me the most really is the actual canvas in the ring. Now, we saw with Tyson Fury and Vladimir Klitschko when they fought in Dusseldorf, there was all that palaver about the fight ring and the actual canvas that they were fighting on. It was very soft, which can actually impact, especially for a mover like Tyson Fury or Billy Joe Saunders, the conditioning of the legs in the later rounds especially, can kind of slow them down, which in my opinion might have been the reason why Fury won that fight. I mean, he was just light on his feet the whole 12 rounds, and the whole kind of build-up just messed with Vlad's head. But I feel like Canelo's a bit more stronger mentally, and I don't think this sort of thing will phase him. I mean, it's going to be a tough night for Billy Joe Saunders, whether it's in, do you know what I mean? Whatever size ring or whatever type of canvas it is, it's going to be a tough night for Billy Joe Saunders. I really want him to win. I really, really do want him to win. I mean, he's one of my favourite British fighters. I love his style. I know a lot of people say that he runs, but he doesn't run, man. He's a technical boxer, and he's very good at that. So that for me, that's what the style is to beat Canelo. Now, is he going to get it on the judges? Probably not. Is he going to win it by a big enough margin that they can't give it to Canelo? Probably not. I mean, Canelo's too good for him to not win at least 4 or 5 rounds, which if he did that, then it's probably going to be a draw. Or maybe even a Canelo split decision, which is what I can see happening, like a split decision to Canelo. I don't think he's going to stop Billy Joe Saunders, especially when he's in this type of conditioning. He's never been in this conditioning before, and he's managed to get through against some very good hard punches in Andy Lee, Chris Eubank, even though he's not a big one-punch sort of hitter like Canelo is. He's accumulation of punches, and he stuck it on Billy Joe in them last few rounds. So he's a tough guy. He comes from a fighting background, Billy Joe Saunders, and I just can't see him getting stopped. It would have to be maybe like an accumulation of body shots or a lucky sort of big hook or something when he's moving. But I can't see it happening in my opinion. I think it's going to be a 12-round fight. I think Canelo's going to win on a close points decision. That is my opinion. I think Billy Joe Saunders will do himself more than proud and do his people more than proud. So I'm looking forward to this fight. Make sure to leave your opinions and your thoughts down below in the comments. Let me know what you think about this ring situation and who you think is right, who you think's wrong. We're looking forward to a very, very, very good fight on Saturday night. I'll be staying up to watch it 100%. And $199 on DAZN, that's a bargain for the best fight of the year.